So today I'm out looking for one of my most favorite turtles I find here where I live. Not telling any of you motherfuckers. Now this species of turtle is a terrestrial turtle. Now what that means, ladies and gentlemen, is it stays here on the land. It doesn't hang out in the water like most other turtles. These turtles have evolved from the water, believe it or not, there's some crazy motherfuckers, from the water to the land over here. Not just here, all across our, actually I have to check the range, but most of the most of where I live, I found these guys since I was a kid. For a while the state didn't even know that these turtles existed here in my county. Thanks to me, I told them about it. Now unlike me, these turtles actually have no problem finding a mate. Even though the past 3 or 4 I found are females, which is a little weird. They actually just go out in the woods, similar to me, and they find a mate. Well, they live in the woods. I don't live in the woods. Typically when I'm in the woods, I don't find a mate when I'm in the woods. When I'm in the woods, it's kind of a sad story. I'm out looking for things that
World's smallest violin. This is serious. I know. This really is the world's smallest violin.
Now, unlike the Native Americans whose land was taken from them and they were given casinos and gas stations to run, these turtles and this wildlife does occasionally get somewhere decent to live, even though it's between one shitty town and another shitty town. Doesn't matter. They're seeming to thrive wherever we allow them, because that's essentially what's happening. Wherever we allow them to live, this species of turtle is deciding that they can live there. Now for this land I'm on right here, I think actually back in the Old West days, we killed off a couple of Native American tribes that were indigenous here just so we could have this land. I'm just kidding, we didn't do that. But I'm sure it did actually it probably did happen. I have no idea. That's the issue with us humans, we're greedy, especially the Europeans. And I'm part European, so I'm 50% European, so yeah. But these guys I actually never really have trouble finding. When I go out and look for them, they normally find me. I just found something I've been trying to make a video on for a little while, and that is the eastern box turtle. Now these guys are one of my favorite turtles I find here, and this looks to be a female. These guys are called box turtles for a reason, because as you can see right here, there's a hinge. Now there's this hinge right here. That's on their underside or their plastron. And this allows them to close up into a box just like this, and they'll tuck their head and their feet into the back side here. It fully tucks up, if you can see that, along with the front side, and this guy's actually pretty friendly. Now this is the 4th box turtle in a span of 24 hours I found. Now what makes this species of turtle so interesting is that most populations of these turtles were actually introduced by people in the forests and the floodplains they live in because of the habitat that they lost, that they once had. Now it may actually look like that I'm sexually harassing this turtle, but that's not the case. I'm actually showing you how you can determine the gender of these turtles. Now one way, and the easiest way, is to look at the plastron, or the underside of the turtle, and as you can see from this video of this male box turtle, they have a dome underneath the plastron, which allows them to mount the females. Another way to sex these turtles is to look at the color of the eyes. The males have a fire truck red eye, and the females have a brown walnut colored eye. Now that's not a guarantee every time, but that's an easy way to determine the sex. The eastern box turtle has a couple different variations of colors they come in. As you can see here, this is a yellowish orange coloration, depending on what part of the country you're from. And some come with a little bit darker red sometimes. These are just a couple examples of ones I've found over the years. That guy I found quite a few years ago, and you can see how he's darker and almost more washed out on his coloration. Now, a couple of threats to this species are the human race. I mean, the humans are bending over pretty much every species of animal on this planet, but these guys actually have learned to adapt. One of the issues they have actually is the fact that they typically live within a 1 mile radius. Now they can stray a little bit farther than that and have been known to survive when they're taken out of that range, but a lot of the times people move these turtles out of that range and it can affect them negatively. They wouldn't know where to eat, where to find shelter, cover, where their den is, or possibly they could starve to death. Now in late May and early June, these guys actually start laying clutches of eggs. Females will lay 3 to 8 eggs. It'd be a little weird if the males were laying some eggs. That'd be a little weird. But they lay 3 to 8 eggs, and they'll have 2 clutches per year, typically. Now I know what you're thinking. Strange ginger man, what do these turtles eat? Well, these turtles forage for berries, they forage for fungi, and a variety of different invertebrates, whether that be snails, earthworms, slugs, insects. They eat it all. These turtles are what you call omnivores, which that means they eat both plants and animals. Like us humans, we're omnivores, except for vegans, they're not. Now the best thing to do if you do end up finding one of these guys in the wild is just to leave them alone and enjoy them from a distance. Now, I'm not doing that, so I'm a hypocrite, but it's the best thing to do. Now, if you do happen to find them crossing a road, what you need to do is pick them up gently and support both the carapace and the plastron. So just pick them up from their bottom, they won't hurt you, and help them across the road the direction they are facing. Now, road crossings are probably the most dangerous situation for a turtle, especially with how they move and how cars move. Cars move a little bit quicker than turtles. Now, this is an example of a snapping turtle I helped cross the road, and so is this. Now this is an example of a turtle that needed help crossing the road but didn't get help, and I got called to come save him and take him to a wildlife rehabilitation center. Now I don't talk about how I saved these turtles just to toot my own horn, but to show you that it happens all the time and turtles die on the road every single day. Now even though in my area this turtle I can find relatively frequently, that doesn't mean that everywhere they're like that. In most regions that these turtles live, these turtles are actually a protected or threatened species. And that's because, like I said earlier, humans are killing them all the time, whether that be through machinery, aka cars, or agricultural equipment. Now that happens a lot, and I've actually found quite a few different specimens who have been killed in the process of cultivation of a field, because these guys are on forest edges. Now that's where typically an agricultural field starts. Now I make these videos, 1, because I'm a low-life piece of shit, and 2, because we got to start spreading awareness and spreading the conservational message to save these creatures and all other creatures like them. Humans are bending every other species of animal over, and it's about time that someone starts standing up for them, no matter how much these spineless, coward politicians who are just self-interested pretend to care about these animals and their well-being. Now, if you stand and like what I had to say in this video, follow me on OnlyFans and The Hub. Those are probably my most active social media platforms. And maybe subscribe. And if not, go fuck yourself, please.